So the rise of obesity across the United States has Americans searching for answers as to why and what is causing it. Children and adults are becoming more obese than ever before. Americans' health has become a worldwide epidemic and call for concern. Overweight and obesity are both labels of ranges of weight that are greater than what is generally considered healthy for a given weight. These terms also identify ranges of weight that increase the likelihood of diseases and other health problems. Since 1990, death rates have increased, as well as diseases like type 2 diabetes. So who is to blame for this obesity epidemic that has Americans and the government concerned? Most of the fingers are being pointed at the restaurant industry for providing fast food that's unhealthy and causing people to gain weight. While the fast food industry has some contribution to the obesity epidemic for supplying addicting greasy food, my major claim today is the restaurant industry has minimal impact on American obesity. So my three main points today are the first one is people across America are blaming the fast food industry for strong roles in obesity issues. My second one is obese people eat more at home than they do at fast food restaurants. And number three, poor diet and physical inactivity combined cause numerous numbers of obesity. So for my first one, people across America are blaming the fast food industry for strong roles in obesity issues. This is mainly because the fast food industry is producing food that is greasy, salty, addictive, and it's easy on the go. And the more Americans are on the go, the more they're attracted to this fast food. The industry has increased portion sizes to attract us. They could upsell us and persuade us to buy bigger portion sizes just to get money. This is especially attractive to children, teenagers, and parents. 93% of Mintel, a market research firm, felt that 93% of adults felt that junk food continues to play strong roles in childhood obesity. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that an estimated 70% of children and adolescents ages 2 to 19 years old are obese. Parents are responsible for teaching their children healthy eating habits, and it's important as they grow up to teach these to their children, and it's basically good for generations to come. Mintel found that 77% of adults surveyed cited that parents are to blame for the national crisis. It was also cited that the absence of a regulated family eating schedule was one main cause of poor dietary habits. It's important to eat regularly healthy foods to avoid obesity risks. My second point was obese people eat more at home than they do at fast food restaurants, proving that the fast food industry isn't fully responsible. Easy access to restaurants has little effect on Americans' obesity levels. A study analyzed data compiled by the U.S. Department of Agriculture on calorie intake around the country found that people living closer to restaurants were not significantly more likely to be obese than people living further away, indicating easy access to restaurants had little effect. People are becoming more sedentary than ever. Former White House economist Todd Buchholz stated that obesity trends are due to Americans being more sedentary than ever and snack twice as often between meals than decades ago. This lifestyle is not good or healthy, and it's important to maintain a balanced diet. My third point is poor diet and physical inactivity combined cause numerous numbers of obesity. This is the main cause of obesity. Obesity is contributed by behavior, environment, and genetics. An energy imbalance, or eating more calories than burning in walks, in physical activity causes obesity, as well as the increased lack of physical activity due to sedentary lifestyles and genetics. If obesity runs in a family, it can be hereditary and may increase susceptibility for obesity and a slower metabolism. Approximately 42% of Mintel's respondents surveyed identified someone in their household as being overweight. Obesity is a very strong health risk. Statistics from an MSNBC government report reveal a poor diet and physical inactivity caused 400,000 deaths in 2000, a 33% jump over 1990. It is important to have self-control and only eat fast foods rarely. Consumers need to judge what is healthy for themselves and not rely on the restaurant industry to inform them of risks and potential side effects. While people do have the right to know what they're eating, the restaurants can help by making people aware of ingredients in their food and calorie amounts. In conclusion, the restaurant industry has a minimal responsibility in American obesity. While it has some contribution to obesity, the responsibility is directed toward Americans themselves and parents. As Americans, we are responsible for what we put into our bodies, and we should not be putting the blame on the food industry. After all, the food industry is just in it for profits and money. Eating occasionally at fast food restaurants cannot cause obesity if proper physical activity follows. People who binge on fast food are the ones at risk for obesity and other health problems, but they make those decisions. With freedom comes the freedom to overeat. The restaurant industry is not solely responsible and has minimal impact on American obesity.
All right, you rush the opening line. It gets a little, I don't want to say slurred, but it's not as clear as it could be. Once you get started, though, it's pretty easy to catch up and figure out what you're talking about. When you got to the proposition, it was very clearly stated. I do think that you have a tendency to rush a lot of the sentences in the speech, and you need to kind of use your pacing a little bit to pull the audience in and to keep things clear. But you did an excellent job on signposting on the body of the speech, so there was a good preview, and when you got to the supporting sections, they're all very clearly labeled, so that helps quite a bit. I thought you set up the controversy a little bit in the background. I did think it was occasionally strange how frequently you came back and suggested reasons why, in fact, it was fast foods that were responsible for all these kinds of things, the nutritional accounts and, you know, how they upsell, and there are a whole bunch of other things. But you always seem to come back to your main point, which is that there are other explanations that are more important. There were some surveys that you used. The first one I didn't think was all that useful. The second one about the number of kids who were obese, I thought that was a little bit more useful. The factual data about the fast food is largely assumed. You don't really provide much documentation on that, although I don't think you need to. I think most people understand that it's not necessarily strong there. There was a lot of citation from that one research, Mentel, and it seems like you need to have a little bit more diversity on the information there. The presentation, like I said, a little more reading than you want, maybe a little bit quicker than you want. There was a place where I think you could have done a little bit more development. You suggested, I think it's on the first point, that the real cause of the problems that people have is they're failing to schedule appropriate meal times and those sorts of things. And I think that that's a point that needed a little bit more development. Your third point was much more extensively developed, and there's an internal structure on that as well. You had a good summary at the end of the speech and a nice exit line, so that made it very clear. All right, thank you.